All right. Good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Can I get it? Okay, very good. All right. Well, this is Chair French, and I am convening the regularly scheduled business meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission for this July 27th, 2021 at 10 a.m. And I am virtual, but joined by my colleagues, Commissioners Duffy and Keene in person at the KCC headquarters. On today's agenda, we have 36 consent agenda items and 3 noticed items. Moving to our first item, our consent agenda. Commissioners, you've had the opportunity to review all of the items on our consent agenda. And let me ask at this time if either of you have any questions or comments, and I will start with Commissioner Keene.
None for me, thank you. Good to see you, Mr. Chairman.
You as well. Commissioner Duffy, do you have any questions or comments on these items?
I do not, and I move adoption of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion of that motion? Hearing none, those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Aye. The consent agenda is approved. We will now move to our 3 noticed items. Our first noticed item is in docket number 21, KGSG 332 GIG, and this is a proposed order granting petition to intervene of the Office of Kansas Attorney General. Our presenter for this item is Mr. Brian Fedottin. Brian?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. On July 19th, the Office of Attorney General Derek Schmidt filed a petition to intervene, citing the Attorney General's statutory and common law authority to enforce the Kansas Consumer Protection Act, the Kansas False Claims Act, and KSA 50-6106, which prevents the unconscionable act of profiteering from a disaster. This order finds that based on the AG's broad investigatory and rulemaking authority to protect the public from unscrupulous suppliers and the AG's responsibility to enforce the acts I just mentioned, as well as the AG's representation of the interests of the state and the public, that the AG has met the requirements of KAR 82-1-225 and KSA 77-521 and should be granted intervention. With that, I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Brian. I'll turn to the commissioners for any questions, this time starting with Commissioner Duffy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a comment, and we at the commission welcome the Attorney General's intervention into this docket and the others as a necessary resource as we explore and develop the landscape of what happened during a Winter Storm Uri, and their office will be, I think, a necessary component of that investigation, and has been as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Duffy. Commissioner Keene, any questions for Mr. Fedottin?
No questions. I would have a comment as well. I certainly endorse all of the comments expressed by Commissioner Duffy. I too welcome the Attorney General's intervention in this docket and the others that are up for consideration. I think it's very helpful. It enhances communication, even potentially bilateral communication. So toward that end, I think the public interest is certainly served. Having said that, I would move the approval of this order.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the described order. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, those in favor of approving the described order, please vote aye.
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 Aye. The order is approved. Our second noticed item is in docket number 21, ATMG 333 GIG. And again, it is a proposed order granting petition to intervene of the Office of Kansas Attorney General. Our presenter again is Mr. Brian Fedottin.
Yes, thank you. Commissioners, this order is virtually identical to the order you just approved. If you'd like me to do a more lengthy presentation, but yes, it's basically identical. So
Thank you, Brian. Are there any questions for Mr. Fidotin on this order? And I will begin this time with Commissioner Keen.
No questions. Same comments I proffered with respect to the previous docket.
And Commissioner Duffy.
I have no comments either, except to say that we also look forward to the adoption of an MOU with the Attorney General's office, which is characteristic between state agencies as they collaborate and work on issues. With that, I move approval of this particular order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the order in this described docket. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, those in favor of approving the order, please vote aye.
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 Aye. The order is approved. We now move to our last noticed item, and this is in docket number 21, BHCG 334 GIG. And again, it is a proposed order granting petition to intervene of the Office of Kansas Attorney General. And our presenter again is Mr. Brian Fidotin.
thank you. As was the case with the last submitted order, this one is also identical in all practical purposes for the two that have just been approved. So again, I'm happy to go into more detail if you want, but I don't think it's necessary. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions on this order, starting with Commissioner Duffy?
I have no questions.
Commissioner Keen?
No questions. Proffering the same comment I had on the two previous dockets. And having said that, I would move the approval of the order.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the described order. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Aye. The order is approved. That brings us to the conclusion of the noticed items on today's agenda. Hearing no additional business to come before us this morning.
Mr. Chairman.
I
if
do see Commissioner Duffy raising her hand.
Thank you. As I noted last week, I was scheduled for a colonoscopy and all thumbs up. Yes, it's all well and good. Here's my challenge to the Kansas Corporation Commission employees. If you contact me and let me know that you are scheduling yourself, if you're age 45, you need to start having a colonoscopy, and every 10 years thereafter. Any employee, I would be happy to pay for a Taco Bell luncheon of your choice, either pre-colonoscopy or post-colonoscopy. I'm just saying the wonders of Taco Bell on your
This seems counterproductive.
Yeah, it might be. It might be very productive. Yes, it eliminates the need for the go lightly. Anyway, contact me and I'd be more than happy to reimburse you for your lunch. So with that, I would move for adjournment.
Does this offer extend to co-workers as well?
Yes, it does.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Aye. We are adjourned. Take care, you all.
Do the same.